What if love wasn't something you earned, but something you could force into existence? That is the terrifying question at the heart of Obsession 2026. And once you see what happens in this story, you may never wish for anything again. The film introduces us to a quiet, awkward young man named Bear. He works at a small music store, spends most of his days drifting through life, and carries one secret he can't escape. He is completely, hopelessly in love with his best friend. Her name is Nikki, beautiful, confident, warm, the kind of person who lights up every room she enters. To Bear, she is everything, but to Nikki, he is just her friend. Or at least, that's what he believes, because Nikki is kind to him, she laughs with him, she trusts him, and that confusion slowly destroys him inside. Does she like him back, or is he just imagining it? One night, everything changes. While trying to buy Nikki a gift, Bear walks into a strange little New Age shop. Crystals, incense, strange trinkets everywhere. And there, he finds something unusual, a cheap wooden object called the One Wish Willow. The warning is simple. You only get one wish. The shop clerk doesn't care much. They casually says something disturbing. Some people come back complaining because the wish didn't work, or because it did, or because they died, or wish they did. That should have been enough to make Bear walk away, but love makes people stupid, and desperation makes them dangerous. That night, everything reaches a breaking point. Bear is finally alone with Nikki. He almost tells her how he feels, but he can't. The words won't come out. And in that moment of emotional collapse, he makes a decision that changes everything. He breaks the willow and makes a wish, a simple wish, a dangerous wish. I wish Nikki loved me more than anything in the entire world. And just like that, the wish comes true. But not in the way he imagined, not even close. Because what comes back isn't the Nikki he knew. And that's when everything begins to fall apart. At first, it feels like a dream. Nikki suddenly starts paying attention to Bear, really paying attention. She wants him near her all the time. She smiles at him differently. She touches him differently. She looks at him like he is the only person in the world. Exactly what he wanted. But something is off. Very off. Nikki begins to behave strangely. Her emotions shift without warning. One moment she is sweet and loving. The next she is distant. And then suddenly, terrifyingly intense. Bear tries to enjoy it. He tells himself this is love. This is what he wished for. But deep down, he knows something is wrong. Their friends start noticing it too. Ian, the skeptical friend, warns Bear. Something about Nikki isn't right. And Sarah, who quietly has feelings for Bear herself, also sees the danger. But Bear refuses to listen. Because for the first time, Nikki wants him. But the truth is far darker. Nikki is not just in love. She is obsessed. If Bear leaves the room, she panics. If he talks to someone else, she gets angry. If he tries to go anywhere without her, she cannot handle it. And then it gets worse, because there are moments where Nikki seems completely different, like something inside her is glitching. Sometimes she smiles sweetly. Sometimes she freezes. Sometimes she screams like she is trapped inside her own body. And that's when Bear realizes something horrifying. This is not normal love. This is not even human behavior. Something else is inside her, something controlling her. And no matter how scared he becomes, he still stays with her. Because deep down, he still wants this to be real. But what happens next will destroy that illusion forever. The situation spirals, fast. Nikki's behavior becomes more unstable, more violent, more disturbing. But at the same time, there are moments where the real Nikki tries to break through, just for seconds, just for fragments. And when she does, it is horrifying, because she doesn't understand what is happening to her. She is trapped, watching her own body being used by something else. Bear tries to find answers. He searches for the store. He calls the number on the box. But the response he gets is chilling. The wish cannot be undone. There is no refund, no reversal, only one way out: death. Because if Bear dies, the wish breaks and Nikki returns to normal. But there is a catch. The Nikki he has been living with is not fully Nikki anymore. Something replaced her, something wearing her like a mask. And then comes the most devastating moment of all. The real Nikki speaks. For a brief moment of clarity, she begs. Not for help, not for love, but for something far darker. She asks to be killed because existence inside her own body is unbearable. Meanwhile, the fake Nikki becomes more unstable. She creates strange shrines. She becomes violently possessive. She begins treating love like worship and Bear like an object that belongs to her. And yet, Bear still cannot let go, even now, even after everything, because the wish is still active and the obsession is growing stronger every second. But nothing prepares him for the final collapse. Everything explodes. The relationship completely breaks reality. Nikki's obsession turns violent. Friends are hurt. People die. And Bear is forced to finally see the truth he has been avoiding since the beginning. This was never love. It was control. It was possession. It was punishment for wanting something too much. The line between Nikki and the force inside her disappears completely. At times, she is sweet and loving. At times, she is terrifying and violent. At times, she is completely empty, a body without a soul. And Bear finally understands what he did. He didn't create love, he created dependency, a distorted version of affection that destroys everything it touches. In the final moments, Bear is forced to make an impossible choice: keep the wish alive or end it forever. But ending it means losing everything he thought he wanted. And when the truth finally hits him, it's too late. Because obsession doesn't just destroy Nikki, it destroys him too. The film ends not with comfort, but with emptiness. Because there is no happy version of forced love, only consequences. And that is what makes Obsession 2026 so disturbing. It is not just a horror movie about a cursed object. It is a warning about desire, about control, about what happens when love stops being mutual and becomes ownership. So the question the movie leaves us with is simple. If you could force someone to love you, would you still call it love? Or would it become something far more dangerous? If you enjoyed this breakdown of Obsession 2026, make sure to like the video, subscribe, and comment what movie you want next. Because not all wishes should be made, and some stories should never be repeated.